Hey guys, it's Eryn. I was asked to speak tonight for the project panel, but I'm not able to make it, so I decided to do a video for you guys because I really want to share with you guys my experiences with the project. So, a little intro to me. I went on a small project after my freshman year to Durango, Colorado, and that was called Crush Fear. And after that one, I knew I wanted to go on a long project the next summer. So this last summer, I went to North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for 10 weeks. And those are the experiences that I'll be sharing with you tonight. And I will be answering 2 questions. And the first question is, share a story of you stepping out in faith to share the gospel with someone. What was it like for you? So when I look back, I have done a lot of sharing on the beach and stuff this summer, but I think there was one in particular that really sticks out to me. And it was the second week, I think, and it was, the theme of the week was Killing the Giants Week. So we had to come up with individual goals of how many people we wanted to initiate with, how many people we could bring to the point of decision, so having them accept Christ, and what other steps of faith that I could take. And so my individual goal to initiate was 3 times during that week. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that just means that I personally will go up to someone on the beach and do the initiation 3 times. And that was, I think, my biggest fear going into project was initiating. So 3, even in my journal I wrote next to it because to me that was scary. And then my other goal was 6 people to have them accept Christ. So having gospel conversations. And then the other steps of faith I wanted to counter was share with a group that was drinking and partying because that's not really my comfort zone. And so it was Tuesday night, I believe, with my impact group, and we were able to split up into groups and kind of switch throughout the night to go sharing. And that night my impact group was at the local beaches, and so during the whole night, I was kind of having my other partner, the other person, go up and do the initiating. I'm oh yeah, go ahead, you can go. I'll kind of stand behind, and I love sharing, but it's the initiating part that I don't like. And so that is towards the end of the night. That's what I really wanted to do, was to start feeling comfortable with initiating, and you just have to do it to get over that fear. It's not scary, but I think you just have to go up and just do it. And so finally, when it was getting dark and it was time to head back to our meeting place at the end of the night, me and my friend went up to 2 boys, and I just did it. I went up to them and I said, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And I initiated, and I conquered my biggest fear that moment. And it was the coolest thing ever. God really worked through me and my friend in this point, and it ended up being 2 high school boys that were homeschooled. They were there on vacation, and their names were Noah and Alex, and they were true believers. They were telling us that they want to use their talents and their gifts to honor God when they grow older. And I think one of them had a passion for music, and he was playing guitar and stuff, and so he really wanted to get into the band scene and honor God in that way. And we were able to get into a really deep conversation with them and talk about heaven and things like that, and we got to use a Satisfied booklet with them. And that's just a little booklet that we use when the people that we talk to on the beach or anywhere are already believers, and it's talking about the Holy Spirit. So we got to use that with them, and then at the end, we were able to all pray together, each one of us, so all 4 of us. It was just the coolest thing ever, and after that night, I felt more comfortable initiating, and so I think over the whole summer, I initiated myself probably 8 to 10 times. But I mean, I shared more, but leaving project, I felt comfortable and confident that I'm not scared to initiate in the future. And the next question is, what did you learn personally while being on summer project? And I think this is probably my favorite topic to talk about because I have learned so much over those 10 weeks. And even today, having it being a few months after project, I think about it every day and I talk about project every single day. And what I talk about is what I've been learning or what I did learn on project. And so I have my journal here from project, and we were supposed to write a whole list of things that we learned down, I think the last Sunday at Sunday school. So I'll read to you guys a little bit of what I've learned, and then I'll touch more in depth with 2 big things that I learned that I still talk about and I'm learning today. So a few things that I learned were God showed me to rely on Him, satisfy only in Him because He is unchanging, importance versus urgency, having an eternal perspective, how to hear the music of the gospel, importance of sharing, having a heart for world vision, vulnerability, learning to break down, highlighting my sin, and don't do but let go. Let God take care of it. And then I also wrote a little bit after that, and it says, Summer Project was an incredible experience. I feel that the entire time I was being broken down by various events, but God was showing me who He truly is. He is worthy of my trust, and I need to seek after Him wholeheartedly. So that's a little bit of kind of a snapshot of what I've learned, but I do want to touch on 2 things, and that is having an eternal perspective and then having world vision. And an eternal perspective, that pretty much means, like, simply, not just thinking about my life here on earth. It's doing the stuff I do daily to have an effect on life here after earth. Because one day we're not going to be here. And what will our life mean? What will it matter? And so I was able to get discipled on this topic, and then I was able to disciple other girls on this topic. And so when I was introduced to having an eternal perspective, I had this thrown at me. So if you can see, it's a line, and it has 2 arrows, and that represents eternity. And if you were to describe your life on this line, it would be a little dot that you can see right here. And so having an eternal perspective means living for the line and not for the dot. And so I like to think of it, and this is what I do every day now, is I don't think about tomorrow, I don't think about next week, next month, next year, or 10 years from now. I worry about today, because I'm only promised today. And what can I do right now that will affect my life after here on earth? So making those kingdom deposits and building those earthly treasures, sorry, not earthly treasures, but heavenly treasures that I can do here on earth. And so having an eternal perspective has helped me to decrease my stress level in school, helped me to pray for other people and other countries. And so that leads me to the next thing that I've learned, and that I have really developed a passion for, and that's called world vision. And this was actually a theme that we had for one of the weeks, and we were able to kind of learn about different countries and their needs for the gospel and how blessed we truly are here in America. And so to bring it back a little bit, this past winter break, I always write my New Year's goals, and so after project I look back at my journal and I read my goals for 2012. And one of my goals was to start praying for the world. And I look up, and here I have a world map in my room now, because each day, this is my goal, since being after project, since being back in project, has been to pray for a country each day. And hopefully by the end of the year, I will have prayed for the whole world. And so that is just one thing that God's been showing me. Like, I haven't looked back at that goal since after project, and now here I have a world map that I just bought, and it's up in my room now. And being on project, we were able to be exposed to the need for the lost and the broken, and how it's important for us as Christians to go overseas and to share the gospel where it's not mentioned and where it's not known and where it's not accepted. And so 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went home, and my church was doing, they're starting a new series, and you can buy a devotion at the end of the service. And so I'm like, oh Mom, I want to get this devotion. And I had no clue it was about Africa, but each day you go through it's like a devotion book, and so each day there's verses and then kind of like a little message that goes along with it from missionaries across Africa, and then a challenge. And then each day there's a little passage for unreached people groups. And they didn't even explain how what the devotion book was. They were just doing this series on living dead and never talked about unreached people groups or about Africa. And so I thought that was really cool, because I have a heart and passion for Africa, and I'm hoping to go to Ghana next summer actually for project. And so besides just praying for the countries that I have up in the wall, I am praying for unreached people groups every day. And so even though I'm not able to go overseas right now because of school and other factors, I can still pray. And you guys can pray too. You guys can make an impact on this world by simply praying. And so I want to leave you guys with the verse and then with a quote. And it's Matthew 28:18 through 20. Jesus came and told his disciples, "I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I have given you, and be sure of this: I am with you always, even to the end of the age." And then I want to leave you guys with this quote from this devotion book. And this is my new favorite quote. It's, "The command has been to go, but we have stayed, in body, gifts, prayer, and influence. He has asked us to be witnesses unto the uttermost parts of the earth, but 99% of Christians have kept puttering around in the homeland." So, I, after being on 2 projects, am challenging you guys to go.